Monogam-ish contains content intended for mature audiences. The views expressed here are for entertainment purposes only. Please enjoy the show.
Hi guys, I'm Justina.
And I'm Kenji.
And
we're
Monogam-ish.
Monogam-ish.
Welcome back to our show. Thanks for sticking around while we took a little season break there. That was a lot of episodes that we put out all at once.
Oh, yeah.
So,
back to back.
yes. So we needed a little bit of summer family time, and
Oh.
now we're back at it.
Yes.
You
back
want to
to work.
introduce who we have today?
My people. Heck yeah. I love them. Just met them. Urvashi, Kama.
Thank
Thank
you for coming
you.
to the show.
Very much for coming
You
to
guys
the
are
show,
welcome.
guys.
Oh, thank you for inviting us. This is perfect.
Absolutely.
Great to
So
be here.
we met you guys after we recorded Dylan's episode. So we met you through Dylan, and you guys have an awesome story. So we wanted to bring you on, and you can share your story and everything that you're doing in terms of normalizing the lifestyle. So
all this crazy stuff.
I know.
Right?
So thank you guys for coming.
Sure.
So let's start. How long have you guys? First of all, you guys are married.
We are.
We are?
How long has that been?
We just celebrated our 30th.
Oh my God! Congratulations to
Congratulations.
that. That's
Thank
a huge
you.
milestone.
Congratulations.
We were
30 years.
kids. Like, you want to talk, like, I met him, like, right out of high school.
Oh really?
Stop it.
Huh?
Congratulations.
So he was almost your high school sweetheart.
I was always his, yeah.
So you met him, but he was already in love with you.
No. No, he didn't know who I existed either. We met.
Aw. And so were you guys open in terms of your marriage from the beginning, or how did that evolve?
No, that occurred about midway through our marriage.
Okay. So after about 15 years.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And how, Urvashi, was it your idea?
It was my idea, ultimately, yes, to open it. It was.
You know
So-
how I guess that, because it's always, when they last, it's usually the
The
woman's
woman's
idea.
yeah.
Well,
Not the guy pushing
Right.
for it.
No, yeah.
it was more just the kind of idea that I recognized that he needed this sense of adventure and that he needed something. And I felt like, well, I kind of started thinking about it. I said, well, he really needs this. And we were really compatible and everything was going great. It wasn't like things were bad. I just recognized he needed something more. And so it was more like, well, okay, knowing that you need this more, is the relationship and what we have based on sex? Is that all it is? Because society kind of tells you that. The reason why you're a couple is because you have sex together. And
Yeah.
then you can do all these other experiences with other people, but you can't have sex. That defines you as a couple. So I started thinking, well, does that define us as a couple, or does love and commitment and all these other things and life we've built together? And that was more important to me than keeping him all to myself. So I kind of went, well, let's just do this because I know this would be really good. And it has been. It's been quite the adventure.
Yeah.
So it was all your needs, huh?
It started out that way in some ways.
Really?
It did.
Yeah, but she's
I wasn't as curious at first.
no, but then you became so, and you've had longer relationships. I would say more in-depth ones than I have.
Okay.
So you guys are more of like an open relationship where you're having relationships with these people. It's not just physical.
I would say it's a mix.
Okay.
You know, sometimes simpler, sometimes more complex.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask
Polyamorous.
that. Polyamorous.
I like
yeah.
that.
Yeah. For me, it is pretty much I have to have that connection, and I'd like to have that. I don't really like the one night stand or just the hookup thing. It just isn't really fun for me. It's so awkward that I never get over that awkward thing, or never get out of my head exactly. And so I'm kind of like, well, I could just go home and do this much better.
It's not fulfilling, right?
Not for me. It isn't. But I envy people who can just express so freely and openly and just enjoy the moment. That's great. It just isn't. I tried it a few times. It just wasn't me.
I'm right there with you. I'm
Yeah,
the same.
absolutely.
I am the same person too. It's because it's like, I connect with so many people, but to like really intimately connect with them, it's something completely different than some random, fly by night talk and hey, you want to just go fuck? No,
Not really.
Not really.
So would you say it was a mixed matched libido, that his libido was just higher than yours?
Oh, not one bit.
No.
Not one bit. He's got this amazing sense of adventure. He would talk about this stuff a lot, and he would like bring up little shows, or he would always like, let's go to AVN, or let's do this. All these little things he would bring up. I kind of went, something's going on. And then he would start talking about the lifestyle, and he told me about it and that sort of thing. And he started showing me some shows and showed me a website. And And then we had done erotic photography for a while. It
Okay.
was something else we had done, and we'd done like broad photography, and then it kind of started going to erotic only because we had a couple show up at one of our shoots, and we thought we were doing our normal boudoir shots, and they just ripped off their clothes and started having sex in front of us, and we were like, oh crap, what the hell's going on? And we were like, let's pretend like this happens to us all the time, we're professionals. And so we just started taking pictures and doing our thing, and we ended up doing a really great photo shoot with them. As soon as they were done, we're like, well, can we do this shoot we kind of had planned too? And so we did this really neat shoot with them, kind of like sort of this erotic thing as well as their
Oh yeah.
totally,
In
out
action,
there
yeah.
in the action
Yes.
stuff. And then we put that together for them, and they wanted us to come to a party basically and show it to their friends. We're like, what? So we went to this party, and it turns out it was all swingers. They all loved us.
Oh,
We
wow.
started and we actually became like kind of the photographers of all the swingers in Denver kind of for a while.
Okay.
And that's kind of how it all
awesome.
kind of got started rolling into that. So
And
so-
then that photography has led to quite a business for you guys over the years.
Yes.
So you want to plug that business?
Sure. Well, what happened about 5.5 years ago is I've always been a lover of cinema,
Ah.
and so for me, I always wanted to make movies.
Oh
Ah.
wow.
And given the time that we spent, because we had done about 12, 13 years of erotic photography, still photography, and decided that we would love to take the look that we have developed over that time and bring it to film.
Okay.
And so that was the transition. And she has a personal story behind, some of the reasons why that was, sort of charged and impetus and such. But we decided from the beginning that we wanted to do it differently. There's a lot of pornography out there.
There
I mean,
is.
tons.
Yeah, the
and-
market is
Right.
very
and
saturated.
It's
Yeah.
very
Yes.
saturated, and frankly, most of it sucks.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Well,
yes, mostly.
Yeah.
95%.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. I was gonna
And-
say.
the thing that bothered me too is even the stuff that says it's made for women, you would watch it and it would like maybe they have more of a story or maybe it was filmed a little better, but when it got down to the actual sex scene, it was filmed exactly the way porn is filmed, and that would bother me too.
Yeah.
Right?
Sorry.
Because it's very objectifying in a lot of ways,
Mhm.
and it has very much a male gaze to it, which I like to distinguish porn from erotica is that pornography is meant to be a replacement for sexual experience. Okay, it's like a meal replacement shake. It doesn't taste as good as the real thing,
Right.
and you're not going to enjoy it as much, but you can get something out of it quickly.
Mhm.
What we like to think about erotica is that it's more like an appetizer. And, we've all been to a restaurant where you've had this amazing appetizer and then you're really hungry for dinner.
Right.
And that's how we like to think about erotica is it's meant to set the stage for people's authentic experiences as opposed to being a replacement for them.
So it's
So-
truly
Lovely.
like a perfect Netflix and chill thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes,
Because
absolutely.
that's
No,
common.
absolutely.
Yeah.
During
Yes.
COVID, that's what
You know-
exploded is come over and let's Netflix and chill.
Which is code for sex.
Right.
Everyone who's listening.
This may be a little crass, but if you have met a girl and you want to maybe, get her in the mood or something,
Mhm.
Ass Blasters 3 is probably not the place to start, right?
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Because,
Agreed.
again, it's meant for a male audience, a guy at home in his basement,
Right.
or whatever, not meant for a couple. And
Right.
and so ours is primarily set up to have both a feminine and a masculine element to it. So it's explicit, okay? We don't shy away from showing that because that's part of sexuality.
Wonderful.
But we don't have that staring nature that porn does. If you think about it, you'll see the freaking blowjob for 10 minutes. And you're
right?
just like,
You're just like, come on now.
Yeah,
I
you
actually
just-
start fast forwarding this.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
like,
you.
this is getting boring.
So-
I need to
I
get,
know,
what's the
right.
next thing they're going to
Something's
do?
next, yeah.
So-
Something's going to happen.
Yes.
So our films are meant to take somebody on a journey and to build the erotic charge so that whenever they see the sexuality in the film, they're right there with it.
Got it.
It-
Does yours have a story and all this?
Absolutely.
Oh man,
So-
good, and not like crap acting.
No, so
like
what we've
porn
done
stars
is
as
we've
well?
actually, the thing that's really unique about us too is that we decided that I didn't want to show any people who are like, hey, Jane, this is Sam, here's $500, go screw. So what we wanted to do is we've picked real lovers, real spouses,
Mm-hmm.
real connection, and they come in and they work with us and we find a story that works for their personality, what they want to do. something that seems really natural to them. When I spend enough time with them, usually these are all our friends. So I spend enough time with them, so I kind of know how they act. I sort of know how they talk. So I sort of write the scripts kind of how they act and talk. And so when they get their
really
scripts,
know them.
they get their scripts, they're like, oh, I would have said that. And I was like, yeah, I know you would have. Yeah. And so it's something that feels more natural to them too, or something that they even paid into the story of like, oh, let's do this, or what if this happened? And so I let them have that creative process too. Then when we film it, we just kind of let them go free and let them do what is natural to them. During the sex scene, we don't try to direct it at all. We try to melt away and let them do what they're going to do. Everything else is highly directed, highly scripted, really, a lot of takes, all the things we need to do. But the big thing that makes us different really, truly is the fact that we do have stories that go from beginning, middle to end. The sex is in context, and these people you're seeing the real deal.
Yep. They don't have to act having sex with each other because they already enjoy it. It's very natural. So the first part of our films, are scripted and shot listed like Hollywood films. Okay, we know what angles we're shooting. I'm the director of photography, and so I look at it based upon the script that she has written and approved, and then we say, okay, how do we really want this to look? And then we structure it, and we laugh about it because some of the films, we include food in a lot of our films because I enjoy cooking. We both enjoy having gourmet food and such, and so we've joked that a lot of our films are like the cooking channel as far as how much work we put into how everything is presented up front.
Oh my gosh.
And then, as she said, when it comes to the actual sexuality, we shift from that's highly structured, getting the look that we want, and go into more of a documentary style, which is rather than cut. Would you have a good time making love if somebody was cutting you every 30 seconds?
Right. Stop.
No, stop.
Could you put your elbow over there?
I know.
Get your butt there.
It's like that's going to freak people out. It's not going to look natural. It's not going to look good. So we have developed a system basically of combining those two styles of filmmaking, and it's been very successful.
I love it.
And it's such a duo. Like you guys really work well together.
Oh yeah, we really complement each other really well, which is great. We wear so many hats because we do it all. It's just us. It really is just us, and we call it a collaborative art project too because at this point we haven't been able to. We're starting to get followers and people to really watch our things. We've won awards all over the world.
I know. I've seen this.
It's
Erotic
and there's so many
Kink
things.
and the Toronto Film Festival.
We were actually in the Milwaukee Women's Film Festival one year.
Yes.
Oh wow!
With a biography piece that we did of one of our actresses, Rogue, who did our first film Redemption, and they loved it. They accepted it. It didn't have any explicit sexuality in it. There was nudity of her doing a photo shoot and all of this. But so we've had really kind of wide range. And actually, I'm proud to announce that Antioch College in Seattle has chosen one of our films in their sex education program.
Oh wow!
So
congratulations!
They're showing our film Paint, which is Angel and Avalon, in a class that's meant to challenge people's ideas about sexuality, how they relate to it, all this kind of stuff. So we've got academic, we've got film festival, and all this, and it's been wonderful.
And at this point, you got how many films under your belt?
I think it's 26.
26.
Wow.
And then we have a whole bunch of little vignette things too, some behind the scenes stuff, a lot of other. We probably have another, all told, maybe 20 other little things to watch. But yes, I mean, I was kind of talking about, the idea of where this was all kind of going to, in the sense that we have this idea, we have this company that you have these plots, you have these real people, you have a cinematic quality of what you're filming at. You're doing all these things to try to invite an audience to come in and feel like this is familiar. And the more you can make people feel this is familiar, the more they're going to be willing to buy into the next thing that happens. To me, I'm kind of like, we show so much gore and violence on TV. Right. We show unbelievable, disgusting acts of hatred and violence against people, but we're not willing to show sexuality. We always shy away from sexuality. And we either present this incredibly romantic Hollywood view of it that no one can achieve.
Right.
Or you have the other side, which is porn, which no one can achieve.
Right.
So
everybody's kind of left out in the cold.
On top of that, I think if sex education in this country is coming down to most people are getting most of their actual knowledge about sex before they have sex from watching porn. Right. And they're saying the images are coming in so young now. Porn is a fantasy world. It's not supposed to be, this is how sex is, it's how the world is. And can you learn things from it and find other things you might not have known and, learn about this fetish or learn about that? Great. Yes, fine. But that's probably not the way you should learn about sexuality in the beginning. And so we wanted to say, well, if you want to do this and if there's film out there, let's show the real thing and let's show people something a little bit different that can show them like, this is what real couples do. This is what real sexuality is. And kind of give permission for people to say, I see myself right there. And since I see myself in that woman, I can do that too.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So
you guys have definitely made your own lane. I love it.
Thanks. One thing that's very important to us as well is that what we present is ethical. A lot of pornography is based upon, things that most of us wouldn't want to have happen to us.
Right.
Cheating, incest, all this kind of stuff. I mean, we've got kids. We don't want to show that.
Right.
Thank you.
Oh
my God.
That's not our style.
That is horrible.
So,
And it's unfortunately one of the most popular categories
Well,
in porn.
and I always have to be really careful whenever I criticize whatever else is doing, because I don't want to do that in some ways, because I feel like everybody has their own thing. At the same
Right.
time, I also see that it seems like the more that porn's been out there and the more it's consumed, it just feels like people just have to push for something different, and so it just gets, I don't know which is feeding which. But I also I don't ever want to necessarily say, as long as things are really truly consensual, it's very hard for me to come down because I never want, if I cut down someone else's right to something, mine could be in danger next, because
Right.
everyone is going to offend somebody with something they do. So
Yeah.
that's so I have to be really careful when I say like, oh, it's all this, it's disgusting. It's not for me. But at the same time, I recognize it's one of the largest movements in the pornographic area now. So why?
I wish incest porn had a more mainstream appeal for a friend of mine.
Or what is it that's tripping people up with that, in the sense like what's turning them on, So there's
Honestly, I think it's just who they're around the most. I mean, especially with COVID and, having to barricade yourself, quarantine yourself, you're not getting out and meeting people as much, except for online. And so it's who they're around. They're around their family more. And so they get, the idea of having sex with their cousin or the step parent or, something like that maybe sounds appealing, because that's who they're around. In the lifestyle, you talk to your friends a lot more about sex. It's a lot more open, what you're into, what you're like or don't like at that moment. And I can honestly say I've never heard somebody go, man, my cousin, if I could nail her.
And it's weird. I've had a lot of people say they really enjoy incest porn, but would never do it themselves. And that seems to be the truth about porn. In porn, there's a lot of fantasy. Like I said, it's a fantasy world. There's this idea that taboo can be very, very exciting to something. The forbidden can make people very turned on. Doesn't mean you would do it in your real life, but it's something that just really turns you on. It's make stuff, right? And that is kind of the idea, is we want to show people that, this is the fantasy, but here's the reality. It can be just as hot as the fantasy.
Right.
And that's, I think, what's important to me philosophically is that I think sexuality is hot and beautiful and wonderful. And I think that most of the times that we're disappointed with it is because we don't have enough charge and energy for whatever it is we're involved in.
Right.
It's like, and that you talked about it, you want attraction, you want that sense of things building.
Yes.
That's what's hot, and that's truly the goal of erotic, is to build the erotic spark.
It's the real stuff, because I used to run a porn store almost 20 years ago now, and so but
God,
but like back in the
VHS.
day, back in the day it was like people would come and be like, hey, I'm looking for golden showers or something, and they would, if they wanted that specific niche, you'd come in and go, well, hey, can I see something like this? And now you could just pop it on, whatever, internet. Oh, let me just check this out. Oh, let me just check this out. And so it's gotten watered down to the point of, it's just trash anymore. People want weird shit,
I think also it's also just because of how the porn industry has gutted itself with how distribution has come out. And there's a big leader who's really the big evil Darth Vader, Death Star, the horrible stuff of porn. And that one person has put a stranglehold on porn, which has made it impossible to make money. And so even the big houses are falling and being destroyed. And so that's also a reason why you're seeing porn get so bad, because honest to God, with big houses who used to have full days of, shoots with caterers and 5 cameramen and blah, 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 are now the owner with his camera in a room with these people.
Right.
And that's all he can afford. And it's a huge place like Vixen. I mean, it's huge. So it's really unreal. That's one reason too. And this is one reason why this is my big thing. Pay for your porn. You want better porn? Pay for it. Because that's the only way we're going to regain the industry, get it back from the pirates who took it from us. And if you do that, you'll get better porn, and we'll be able to make better porn more and more. I mean, right now we've been doing this now for almost 7 years, and it's been out of pocket 100%. We have not been in the black yet. And so we're hoping at things like
Wonderful.
this, this documentary that we were going to talk about soon too, that's going to start getting us out there. And now we finally have the street cred with all the films. We finally have a library of films. Yes. We finally have, all the awards underneath us too. So we have some
backing.
stuff.
Yeah, you guys got the backing.
I think
love
what's hard with it is that you watch porn for like 5 minutes. It's a quick get off, and people, and there is so much of it. It's everywhere. It's in your face. There's so many websites that they can get it for free. So they think, why would I ever pay for it? However, the quality, and that's a different thing. If this is a romantic date with your girlfriend or boyfriend, or even just a Netflix and chill, and you're trying to set the mood, those type of videos like you guys are putting out are primarily what's going to do it. But it's finding those people that are willing to pay for that.
Yeah.
Well, people always
we're not hard to be paid for.
No. Yeah. So I want to mention the way we do things, which we think is really cool and ethical. Is we don't have a monthly subscription fee because we can't produce things quick enough to keep up with that.
Just the two of us.
Yeah, I'm sure. So people are like,
if people are like, hey, it's $30 a month and you didn't make a film this month, that doesn't fit well for us. So what we do is more of a Patreon kind of style, where we ask people to support us, and when you sign up, you pay initially to get access to everything we've done, and then the only time we charge you is when we release a new film. So if that's 2 months, then you're not charged for 2 months. And so we do it based upon what we produce as opposed to some sort of time clock on a subscription.
Oh, gosh.
That's perfect.
The other thing we do is we have only two levels. We have a $10 level, which is just see our films. Mm-hmm. And then we have a $30 level, which is and everything else. And you get to decide between that $10 and $30 how much you want to pay us. You can pay us $10, you can pay us $29. If you want to go to $30, you can pay us $30, you can pay us $1,000. It's whatever you want to pay us as artists to be making this work for you.
We look at it more from that patron artist sort of standpoint. And, I'll be checking emails in the morning and I'll see somebody put something in and they're paying us $75. They could have got away with $10. Mm-hmm. Why would they do $75? Because they love what we're doing.
Or they could get away with $30 and get all the background stuff, and they give $75 or something. Yeah, so thank you, by the way.
Yeah, like the $75. I mean, that's your clients and that's your fan base. Yeah. And they're paying you that extra because they support you guys.
It.
Right.
And they like what you guys are putting out. Yeah. And it's not trash stuff. God.
Right. Yeah. And they probably, because I've heard you say it more than once, ethics are very important to you guys.
They are. We want to do it well.
And that can be portrayed through your work.
Yes.
And so they probably don't feel like, oh my God, I can't believe I watched that. I need to turn that off and never watch that again. And they don't feel that dirty feeling that sometimes you feel after you watch porn.
We've had a lot of people tell us that.
You don't know what you're stumbling into a lot of times when you're just randomly picking a video online.
Yep.
And so sometimes you're like, oh, this one looks great. And then you click on it and you're like, what in the hell?
Yeah.
What? I need to turn this off. I shouldn't have been watching that.
It's like, I can't unsee this.
Right.
Yes.
And we have been surprised, as she'll tell you, is that we kind of thought that women would really dig it, but the men have digged it like a lot.
Yeah.
More so than we thought.
Yeah.
It's on my mind what the men have said.
I believe it, with the acting and, your scripts, and you have like actual people, and it's not this setup like just, like you said, just Dick and Jane. Hey, you guys just met.
Get together.
Go fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and as good as many performers are in the porn world, I mean, there's some amazing performers, and we've been privileged to meet many of them and know them and such, but they do have a certain sort of modality in the way they operate.
Right.
and over time, that kind of shows,
Right.
And everybody who's in our films are real people who are friends. None of them are professional, porn actors.
No.
And
or actors or anything.
And if I told you the list of professions, you would be blown away by who these people are. Because they're all over the place.
Yes.
And to us, the relationship that we have with them is really, really critical. Our first audience are the people that are in the film. Mm-hmm. And if they don't love it, then we did something wrong.
Yeah.
If they can't watch it again and again and say, that's me, and I'm proud of that, then we did something wrong. So we look at it the other way. We try to make stuff that they're proud of, that they can feel, excited about and enjoy. And we just can't help but think that translates into the viewer, the audience watching it and going, oh my gosh, everybody's okay with the sexuality here.
Yeah.
And that's a powerful thing.
They
Well,
do.
yeah, and
That's
then-
$75.
Yeah.
They do.
And then something we do a lot is at the end of every film we have a bloopers kind of reel, or just sort of behind the scenes kind of stuff, and shows
Oh
what's
my
going on.
God.
And
So we
there's
do
always
outtakes.
so much laughter.
Oh my gosh.
And it is like that. We between takes, we are laughing. We are having a great time. You know, we just have a fun time.
It's really fun to make erotic film,
We're,
right?
we're
Oh.
all laughing together.
Yeah,
It's
you
fun.
get paid to watch people have sex. I'm a
Yeah.
complete voyeur, so let's do it.
Yeah.
So would you say that it's mostly lifestyle people that come in and want to do this?
Pretty much,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what we found in general is lifestyle people tend to be much more open with just sex and period, having, sex in front of people,
Yep.
feeling more comfortable with the camera there.
Feeling more comfortable with their own bodies.
Yeah,
Mhm.
You know?
and their partners,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yep.
that's something that you get to explore a lot more than when it's just you and your partner, and it's a very monogamous type lifestyle,
Yeah.
which again, we don't have any problem with. We say this
No.
over and over.
There's beauty in monogamy. There really
There
is.
really is, and monogamy is for a majority of the people.
Yep.
But this allows you to open up a whole nother world where these people are much more comfortable normally doing it. So
Mhm.
you're seeing really, truly what they do, behind closed doors or in in
Yep.
open bedrooms, because they're more comfortable expressing that at this point.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, obviously, anybody that acts in an erotic film is by nature an exhibitionist, right? Because they are exhibiting themselves, and most of them find it, really, really exciting to do that. And that's, of course, the energy that we want in the process as well. So it works out beautifully to have drawn people from the lifestyle. And to our knowledge, we're the only film company in the world that has done this.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Told you,
Most-
made your own lane.
Most of the companies hire from a stable of actors and actresses that
Mhm.
are professionally doing that. So they're paying their rent based upon the work they're doing.
Mhm.
Okay. The people that do it with us, quite
No one's paying their
honestly,
rent.
almost no one's paying their rent because we're not paying our rent. Okay. And we've gone into debt personally in order to continue the vision of what we're doing. And we will provide honorariums to some actors if they have to take off work or need gas money or that sort of thing. But the majority of people that have filmed with us have done so as volunteers
Oh wow.
because
Yeah.
they want to be in our films and
cameramen,
enjoy
our
that.
crew, everyone has a talent has come along because they catch the vision too, and I think
Mhm.
that's really it too. Is the idea is in the lifestyle, not only are people more open, they understand what they've been through to get here.
Mhm.
You know what you've got through. So you guys are doing this, and it's your way of trying to give back and to normalize and to say to society, there's nothing to be afraid of. We're not saying you don't need to persecute us. You don't need to do bad things. You don't need to shun us from things. We don't. It's right now. If you had on this two gay men who were telling you they might lose their job, or they might, have family members disown them, or all the different things that could happen, or they might not be able to stay in their apartment any longer because they would come out and talk on your podcast about their sexuality,
Mhm.
the whole, you'd have the world being in uproar.
Mhm.
But you have two heterosexuals or even people who are bisexual even come up and tell you this, and they're doing this, and it is now the scarlet letter. It really is.
Right?
So I think you have people in the lifestyle with this common cause of saying we want to come together and start changing this. We want people to normalize us the same way we've normalized homosexuality, and now glorify and say, hey, yay, yes, champion that. Well, let's yay and champion the other sexual choices there are. It doesn't have to be an attack on monogamy. It isn't an attack on monogamy, but to me, it's more like saying there are other choices, and do I want you personally, if you're monogamous, still to explore your sexuality, even if it's monogamous? Yes, I do.
Mhm.
Because there's
Right.
still more to explore, even in your monogamous relationship.
Right.
Mhm.
And if you want to explore outside that, then here's a whole library, here's a whole place to go, safe places to see, to get references from, to learn the truth about it rather than this circus thing that's been thrown in your face
Thank you.
all
Right.
along.
Preach on that, because it's okay for society to you can go and cheat on your partner,
Mm.
and not lose your job, or not
Uh-huh.
be shunned from anybody, man or woman, and but two people who do it openly
And
and
honestly?
and ethically, and you're going, no,
Yeah, I don't-
that's not cool with us.
Oh,
That's
Kenji,
not cool with
I
us.
think that's one of the things that pisses me off so much is how we get so persecuted by a society where cheating is so rampant.
Right.
And it causes so much destruction. And here we are being honest and open, and people are like, oh my God, you guys are disgusting. It's like, wait a minute.
Or they think that your whole entire life revolves around sex.
Right.
You can't. No, I had a boyfriend who truly believed that I couldn't even go to the grocery store without having sex. If one guy just looked at me, like I couldn't go anywhere unescorted because if a guy just looked at me, I'd be so weak and just go, okay, fuck me right here. You know, no, we're normal human beings living normal lives.
Making decisions.
We just have a little bit different sex life than you, perhaps. I mean, probably isn't all the time. The other thing is, in lifestyle, there's a lot less sex than people think.
Oh, I agree.
It's not just like sex. Even if you're just swingers, it's not just a sex.
And it's a community. I mean, the parties, I think a lot of people think, and we get this all the time from, just people ask us, what do we do? And we give them our Monogam-ish card, and they go, oh, okay. And and they think, oh, well, where do you do that at? And we'll tell them we go to clubs or we, have house parties. And they think that right when they walk in the door, they're going to be hit with sex and they're going to be forced to have sex. And that's what's going to be the whole night. And I'm like, no, we're like go in there and we're going to, play some cornhole and we're going to listen to some music and, we're going to dance. We're going to have some fun. We're
It's a
talk
normal
to people.
party.
Yes.
Except that you can talk openly about sex or attraction and nobody gets mad and says, oh my God, I'm going to go outside and fight you.
Right.
Or, I'm a bitch. I'm going to get you. Whatever. There's none of that going on. And then maybe every once in a while there's sex at one of these parties. And maybe it's in the open and maybe you have to find it in a behind closed door. It's not this wild
variable.
thing.
It's variable.
Thank you. And it's okay that you can go out and I can talk to her and you're not going to be upset about that, or she can look at you or she can look at her, and I'm not going to go, oh my God, are you trying to do this right now or what?
Yeah.
And sometimes we forget those, those society rules.
When you're in the muggle world?
When we're in Vanilla Land. And even here, we'll be out on the 16th Street Mall and we'll be walking and he's right next to me and I see a guy and I'm like, oh my God, I really like your shirt. And his girl will look at me like,
what'd you do?
Like I just gave him my phone number and said, let's hook up. And I'm like,
what I found is compliment the girl first.
I know.
Talk to the girl first. Win her over first, and then you can say whatever you want to her guy, and she's like, yeah.
But it's nothing even sad. It's not even like I'm trying to hit on her guy or doing like I just legitly like his shirt.
It is so strange to me how compartmentalized we've gotten about how we can interact without people freaking out. Like people own each other, and that bothers me so much.
Or how it's almost gone on a different spectrum where I see it's right now in our younger generations. It's almost a need that I want you to feel jealous of me. That jealousy
That's a proof.
Yes.
See, that's a proof.
Yes.
That's a proof of how much I care.
Yes.
Because you're so jealous of me. And you're so jealous that this guy talked to me or that girl, smiled at me or whatever the case is, that they need that in their that jealousy in their relationship.
Because they've been taught to love drama.
Yes.
It honestly would be a full-time job if I became jealous every time a man wanted to talk to her.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you, Kama.
It would.
Thank you. Oh my
Lord. You know
Lord.
what's crazy is I can say ditto because he's so not gender fluid. He's so
I'm just me. You guys know me.
He's so comfortable in his own sexuality, and he dresses whatever way he wants. And so frequently, he'll be holding my hand. We'll be out dancing. Guys hit on him all the time.
Oh, I'm sure.
All the time. And I'm like, okay, cool. And girls hit on him all the time, too. And it, whatever.
I'm sure they hit on you, too.
Yeah, that's right,
But it gets to the point where when you're out in a vanilla place or you're out just, at the grocery store, you almost have to hold back.
Got to reel it in.
Reel it in. And when you get used to being in the lifestyle and just being open and telling somebody, hey, I love your shoes or I love your hair or oh, hey, what a great smile or anything, and it not being taken the wrong way, you can't do that out in the vanilla world.
No, I think there's a lot of tension around sexuality.
Really?
Okay?
Yeah,
right. And in society, we use sexuality for a lot of things it was never meant to be used for. Proof of, commitment, all these kind of things.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But really that tension it's just edgy, and that's one of the things that we've really enjoyed about the lifestyle is it's just a lot more relaxed and, certainly there are things that occur at certain times and everything, but the majority of people that have been around the block and been in the lifestyle are really chill.
Right.
And that's fun.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
It
Thank
makes
you.
everything more comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes the energy in the area better. It makes the night that we're going to have much better when we know we're not going to have to deal with any of that drama.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, I used to tell people, and I guess it's kind of like the thing I used to tell people is like, you come because you're curious, but you stay for the people.
Right.
Because
Yes.
a lot of times, I've even met people who've never been in the sense that they're tangential to the lifestyle, in the sense they're there. They're maybe, I guess, advocates of the lifestyle, but they don't ever play. They don't ever party. But they love the people and they love the atmosphere so much that they come to those sort of things and are part of that in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we invited somebody to the club, and she was like, oh, I'm never going to do this, ever. And she hasn't hooked up with anybody.
Nope.
She's brought a best friend and everything, and she's just like, I cannot believe this was like this.
Mhm.
Like, people are so cool. You could talk to them about
Yes.
anything. And she's just like, oh, my God, I've never got that, even at the club,
She's addicted to the atmosphere at
Yes.
this point.
Yeah.
And that's actually opening her mind up. And again, we tell her all the time, like, if you want to be monogamous, then that's your thing.
You should never. Yeah.
No
You don't
problem.
need to do this. Yeah.
But still, come and have fun.
Yeah.
And now she's opened up to the point where, like, oh, I can
Yeah.
just come here and I can hang out.
And people
But-
are interested, really,
Right.
truly interested. They remember my name. They're not just
Right.
staring at my boobs or grabbing my ass or trying to
Right.
fuck me. I mean, it's amazing. You sit there, here we are, sex people, and this idea of, oh, you're really sex people, and but no one's trying to fuck you in some ways. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
It's like you go to the clubs, and it's like this hunt when you go to normal clubs.
Oh,
And I've been grabbed and touched so inappropriately.
Isn't it
Literally,
horrible? Oh, my
so
God.
so bad. And yet at these places, no one touches you inappropriately. No one, flirts with you in those ways unless all the green lights are there. It's
Mhm.
people are so polite, so kind.
Yes.
I think what her number one thing was she was like, there's no security here. And I'm like,
They
what do you
don't
mean?
need it.
What do you mean? And she's like, well, there's no security guard. And I'm like, well, they checked your ID when they came in at the front desk. And she's like, yeah, but what if there's fighting or there's drama? And I'm like, girl, we're at a swingers club. Everybody's having sex and loving
There's-
each
well,
other.
yeah.
There's
We're a
no
community.
there's
Everybody
no
watches out
fighting.
for
We
each
sort
other.
of take care of those things ourselves
Right.
in a
Thank
lot of
you.
ways.
Thank
Right.
you. We all
And believe it
police
or
each
not,
other.
there
It's
is security,
self-policed,
but you
yeah.
just don't ever see it because they're so casual.
Right.
Mhm.
It's not the same
Mhm.
thing.
I know, and she, the biggest thing, she was like, "Wow, I can tell somebody no." That was, that
Oh,
was our
yeah.
first thing, and I go, "Hey, you know what? If you're getting hit on by somebody and you are not interested, you tell them no.
And
I
they-
am not interested." I
And
said,
they will honor
they
that.
will honor that.
They
and
don't
they won't put you down.
Yeah,
they
they
won't
don't
start
go,
calling
"Bitch."
you names. Oh my God! Well, fuck you then.
Oh yeah,
you know?
that's
Oh,
happened
God.
to me so
We-
many times in a
In
vanilla
a vanilla
place.
place.
Mhm.
Where
know.
I went out with actually Drew's wife, Trish. We went out to karaoke.
True over there.
And husband's not really into that stuff, so me and the girls, we went out. We're doing karaoke, and I go up to the bar to get a drink, and this guy hits on me, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. And he immediately got so nasty, started calling me names, told me I was,
Well, and that's that tension that I was speaking of, that there's
Right.
big chips on shoulders and got to prove and all this
Right.
kind of stuff, and
Yes.
it's tiresome.
right.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I'm a bitch for saying I was very nice about it. Like, I'm not interested, but thank you. Like, and I moved on.
Especially from like a male perspective, it's
Mhm.
like guys go out the tension, and it's like, oh my God, like, is this girl gonna like me? I need to talk to her. But then you say no, it's okay, and all of a sudden that tension comes down, and it's
Yep.
like, oh my God, what, am I not the man? Am I not good enough for you? And like, and it's just like, come on, man. They just don't want to dance with
Yeah,
you.
you don't
they
need
want to
that.
talk to you.
You don't
Right.
need that.
Stop it.
It's also a one-up thing, though, too, because this
Mhm.
particular guy was in front of all his friends, and, he took a hit to his ego because
Yeah.
somebody told him no.
Well, he should have checked it at the door.
Right. And that's what I love about our lifestyle places,
Mm.
is that typically, there's always going to be a hotter chick. There's always going to be a dude with a bigger dick. That's always going to happen. So you let that at the door, and you're here to have a good time and enjoy the company of the people that you came with and the people that are there.
Yep.
And I love that part about the lifestyle.
Totally agree.
I'm sure you guys have had friends. You said 15 years. I'm sure you guys still have friends from the very beginning.
Oh yeah,
You know?
and they run the gamut.
Mhm.
Some of them we've had sex with, some of them we'll never have sex
Yeah.
with,
Right.
but they're great friends, and we've
Right.
known them forever, and
Yeah.
In fact, I would
still-
say like the majority of people we have like super good friends we've not had sex with. I mean,
We
but-
say the same thing.
that would
I
that would
mean-
actually be a little weird in some of those cases.
Right.
yeah.
after so long, you're like, wow. Even if we did something,
We're sort
it'd
of
be so
family now.
fucking weird, right?
We're sort of family now. It's kind of weird.
So you guys have evolved from Spark Erotic, and separate from that, you guys are now working on a documentary.
That's correct.
And
Yeah.
so tell us a little bit about that.
Well, and it's kind of Spark Erotic related because what had happened was there's a really high-end, super high-end promoter of parties for lifestyle parties, swinger parties in London. And he's throwing parties in Dubai and France and
Oh,
Germany,
wow.
all over the world. He's throwing. He's done some in America as well before COVID. But he's just, I mean, over the top, good stuff. But instead of charging an arm and a leg and a torso to go to his parties, he charges a lot less, but it's incredibly selective. And it's a really tight list to get in. And it's really, he has to select who he's going to have at certain parties and that sort of thing. And he, is really careful about it. But he was approached by a company to say, hey, we love to kind of do this behind the scenes peek for people to see what is the lifestyle really like? What are swinger parties really like? Because everybody's got this idea, but what's it really like? And so he was told to go out and kind of start interviewing people and doing these things. And so he put out a thing during COVID saying, hey, is anybody kind of interested in talking on camera about their sex life? And a girlfriend saw that and she said, I would love to. And she starts texting to him and they picked her. And she said, well, I'm actually in America. And they were, oh, no, that's fine. That'd be great. And she says, well, you need to talk to one of my friends because she's like my sex guru and you got to talk to her. And that's when she asked me. I knew nothing about this. I had no idea. So the night before she comes to my house kind of telling me, because she's like, oh, we're just going to have this little interview. So I didn't know. I thought it was going to be something very casual. And then the night before she kind of tells us, he starts looking everything up and we're like, oh God, this guy's big. This is big stuff. This is not a little fly-by-night thing.
Yes.
So we end up making a set sort of like this and kind of totally getting ourselves dolled up and doing everything we could and do this really good.
I'm lighting it.
He's
you
lighting
know.
it.
I love
So they do this Zoom call and they'd scheduled like that 45 minutes before it goes out, right? So they'd schedule that 45 minutes and that was their easy way to get out of any interview they needed to get out of. So they'd scheduled that 45 minutes and we came on, they were instantly impressed and like every answer we had something for, or every question we had an answer for, everything we just had this great rapport. And so at the end of that 45 minutes, they were like, wait, we need to, and they ended up canceling all the rest of their appointments and sat with us for several hours just talking.
Oh, wow.
And gathering information. And I kept telling them about Spark Erotic, and they kept going, oh yeah, your little amateur porn company. I'm going, it's not whatever.
Right?
It's like people have to see it before they know what I'm talking about. And so by the very end, they were like, well, at the very least, you guys are absolutely going to be part of our interviews. We're definitely going to put you on Netflix. You're going to be part of our little interview thing. So hung up and I send them instantly. I'm saying, when you hang up, I'm going to send you my website. You can see what we do. It's like 20 minutes later, I get a call. They're like, Sue, sorry for calling you amateur porn.
Yeah. Right.
And on top of that, you came off so well in this, and you were so great. We actually want to offer you half our show. We want to make you half of what we're doing because we want to make you the American side to what we're doing over here in Europe with this documentary.
Oh, wow.
So they got us in touch with the other producers. They did all the stuff. And so they said, because you guys, at first they said, well, COVID, we can't bring a team over to do the whole documentary thing. But since we figured out what you guys do and you're as good as you are, we'll let you guys film all your own content. Now, who gets that in a documentary?
Shit, right?
And so we're controlling all our own content. We're not sending anything that's going to make us look, there's no way you could edit us to look bad, really, because it's all so good. No, this has been such an amazing thing. So we're on our second round of interviews now. Like, you're going to interview us. We're going to turn around and interview you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Drew, you too.
We're gonna be
yes.
We're gonna be
So,
on our first documentary,
There you
babe.
go.
And I'm a documentary whore. Like,
So there you
that's
go.
all I watch. Like
Yeah.
documentaries and the
Netflix and chill.
Well, I was gonna say that too. Documentaries are
Yeah, they are great.
And I think that right now, at least, we have yet to find anything that really showcases the lifestyle at what it truly is.
Exactly. And that's what Chris in England was talking about. That's what we've talked about. We want, and that's what Dylan is talking about, is we want something that makes it more human.
Yes.
Rather than this weird freak show thing that everybody thinks it is. And you make it be like, just, it's nothing. It's nothing. People get over it.
Thank you.
And on top of that, yeah, there are some little interesting corridors you can go down, but still, it ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Everybody has those corridors.
Yeah.
Right?
And, in their own sort of way.
Thank you.
So these documentaries are really necessary right now to be coming out that are very, human-based, personality-based, life-based, with people that are accessible to the public. I think what's happened is you've had people willing to do for who was so on the fringe of society because they were the only ones willing to talk because they didn't care. But now you have people who are less on that fringe of society, more mainstream, coming up and being willing to talk. That is a huge door opener to other people. Again, you have to recognize yourself and feel permission. Again, what we're really trying to do is say, I loved what Dylan's saying is more than monogamy, because there is more than monogamy is beautiful, but there is more, and there's so many wonderful things, and it's okay to do this. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to have this exploration, and we want to say there is a heteronormative narrative for sexuality, that is great, but at the same time, stop trouncing other people's other choices, sexual choices,
Right.
and this exploration they're doing, because it has nothing to do with you. They're not coming to your house. They're not going into your room. You'd have to go and find it yourself in order for it to be any problem. So that's why it bothers me. People are persecuted, or they lose their jobs, or anything that happens to them, because this has nothing to do with you.
Right. So on the flip side, we got a question for you. One of the some of the flack that we've gotten back from the actual community is we kind of like this to be private and edgy, and we don't want people to know what we're doing.
Isn't that sad?
I know.
I've almost what?
Well, and I think it's
Right.
because
What?
Right?
well,
No.
I think when
Because
the fact that other people think it's taboo, to
They
them,
like that.
They like that.
I
well,
get
then
it.
that's their
But,
kink, I guess. But the thing is like, to me, I feel like anything that is a secret has such power and has power to go to the negative and like darker things as long as they're secret. And so I think we're feeding something really dark. And I've always told people in my life, if I have to be your dirty little secret,
No.
no,
No.
never. And I told my children that, I told my kids that when you get to this age and you're going out in the world, don't ever be someone's dirty little secret. Don't ever accept that in your life. Ever.
Right.
No.
So you guys have dealt with this too, then I'm guessing.
No.
No. Okay.
We
I've
haven't
not
we
heard
haven't
this.
heard that particularly. No.
No.
So I will say it's mostly from the older generation of swingers.
Okay.
The ones that came way previous to
The ones
us.
who had to do like the newspaper things.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
they-
The back page.
Yeah, back page.
They had-
oyster or some
They
shit.
had
you
no
know?
opportunity, to be accepted,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they were at a time in which it just wasn't going to happen.
Right.
And so I think they just settled and made peace with that and just kind of went their way. For us, at the ages that we're at and such, we would like to show alternatives and to make people know that as long as sexuality is consensual and healthy, then everything's on the table and you should be, open to be able to pursue that.
And that's how we feel too. And, we've expressed to you guys on a personal level outside of here the whole reason that we're doing this.
Mhm.
And it's to lift that veil. It's fun. And like I said, we've had some fun times where we'll be out at a vanilla club and
But see, you'll
we're
always
with a
have
girlfriend.
that.
But
Yeah.
you'll
Right.
always have that.
Right.
You'll always have
Always
that.
have that.
Right.
And he loves those nights when it's two or three girls hanging on him and
Let's go there. I love those nights, but if we're like at an open place,
right.
like a swingers place or something of that nature, a lifestyle place, because when we're out in public at a vanilla place, it just gets way too weird.
Yeah, there isn't.
People-
Again,
it
it's
just
that
does.
edginess.
It just does.
Because you'll have the guys looking at you going, what's
what
up
the
with
fuck?
him? Dude, he's got 3 guys. That's less for
Right.
us,
Dude,
that
what
sort of thing. And you got the women going, how come I'm not there? Or whatever. It's like, again, here's how I like to look at it is my mom taught me a long time ago that one of the tenets of her education process, she was a teacher, was cooperation, not competition. Okay? And I think that the lifestyle is largely cooperative.
Yes.
And I think that the vanilla
Yes.
world is largely competitive.
Yes.
Right?
Oh.
And so think about it. And she hates playing games. Okay, we were just talking about this today. She hates playing board games and stuff because everybody gets competitive and you start
They
to have a
stop being
shitty
social. They
time
stop being
because they're
having
not
fun.
having a good time.
It's always some sore winner,
Yeah,
some
it's-
sore loser.
And it's like, can't we just be cooperative? And so I think the lifestyle is cooperative. And, your 3 girls hanging on you shows you that it's cooperative.
I'm all,
And-
hey.
But in the vanilla world, it's about competition. Who's going to get that person? How, and I'm going to play this better. And it's not fun.
Right.
Yeah, the story that she was telling you a little bit ago about with her dress, and we were in Mexico when this happened. And so we had a bunch of,
Studio
everywhere.
Audience, the studio
People-
audience has no idea what you're talking about.
Well, yeah.
yeah, well, it's all right, But, all these other guys were like, oh, my God, like, dude, like, what's going on, This is your wife? This is your girlfriend? Like, oh, and I'm just like, well, yeah, Well, do you fuck them both? Well, yeah, I've had sex with them both. Like,
How does that
what-
work?
Yeah, like, what can I do? Like, can
do
I
that too?
have sex with them now too? And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, dude, first of all, like, if you play your cards right, but, like, talk to them, be open, stop being so, standoffish.
It is that
And,
tension.
and it's just the standoffish thing, and it's the competition thing.
Yeah.
Well, how do I get into that? Well, where's your wife at? Have you talked to her about that? Well, we haven't really had that discussion yet.
Well, then you're not ready.
Maybe you need to go and have that discussion
Then
first.
this is off the table.
Yeah,
Right.
maybe you need to go and have that first.
Yeah.
I think people automatically think that it's non-ethical.
Oh, yeah.
monogamy.
It's true.
Non-ethical non-monogamy. And I'm like, no, this is all consensual. This is completely ethical. He knows what's going on. Her boyfriend knows what's going on. He's not here tonight, but, or her husband or whatever the case is. And a lot of times I'll frequently get as the female, and especially because he's got two wardrobes. His summer attire,
Oh, yeah,
which
you guys
you
have only
see.
seen this.
I love it.
And then his winter attire is a 3-piece suit. And so they see him in that, and they automatically think, oh, he paid for those girls.
Oh.
I get that.
Oh.
We get that a lot.
Weird. I hadn't even
A
thought
lot.
about that. I hadn't even thought about it.
Especially when I'm in my 3-piece suit.
Yeah.
So the girls have to be prostitutes because
Right.
Well,
Because
of
why
course.
does
because
he
you have to pay for it because of course this is just so natural.
And that's why they're both hanging on him, because he paid for them. And I'm like, oh,
No.
hell no.
He may have bought him drinks.
If
but
anything,
that's 'cause
he's a
a
kept
gentleman.
man.
I'm the kept guy, but
He's
thank
a
you,
kept
thank you, thank you.
I paid for him.
Thank you.
I think
That's why I'm
great.
in the suit, goddammit.
Oh, that's the way to do it. No. I'm the one they paid for.
Yeah,
I'm the
hell
one-
yeah.
I'm the
Come
one
on
who's
now.
being paid.
Trying to
No,
up my game here.
Yeah, hell
And
yeah.
don't get me wrong,
Hey.
to all the sex workers out there, we support you.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't care if you're, but that's not the situation.
But
don't
to-
assume the situation.
There's a lot of assumptions. And I think,
Well,
we talked about normalizing. Part of normalizing is spreading the truth about something so that people can understand.
Right.
Whether you decide to go this way or that way or whatever, but you should not labor under misperception.
Right.
And just let it be open. We've
Right.
talked to our kids about it. It's
Yeah,
just
our
it's
kids
just
know.
another avenue that you
Yeah.
can go. It's just here's some
Yeah.
more information. It doesn't have to be this cut and dried.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and I was going to say about the competition thing. I think the thing I really love about being in the umbrella of the lifestyle doesn't just mean swingers to me. It just means everything, all the different things, all the different social places that this takes you through the poly world, the swinger world, the kink world, anything.
Mm-hmm.
But what I have found is the lack of competition between the women. That I have, for the first time in my life since wee childhood, have been able to establish true relationships with females because there's none of the bullshit of this competition going on between them. There's none of this well, obviously there's some in every society. There's some of that going on. But it's such a small amount.
Very reduced.
It's so reduced. I have actually met real women who I have peer relationships, friendships that are really strong, wonderful women in my life. And I love it. And for the first time, I finally get why women are like, oh, women are so great. I was like, really? And now I'm like, women are awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not bisexual. So it's more about connecting with women. That has been so wonderful because I never even had that. But because I find it sometimes for the bisexual women, it's a little bit easier for them sometimes to find that initial connection. But for me, it's just that's been such a precious gift to me is have this place where the women aren't competing. They're not backstabbing. They're not nasty.
Oh, yeah. When you take away all those borders and those boundaries of, we're at a vanilla club and this is my husband and you need to keep your eyes and your hands and your mouth
Everything.
everywhere
Yeah.
else. When you take that away, it allows us to go, oh, my God, you get the most compliments there.
Aren't you an amazing
Yeah,
creature?
I love your dress, or I love the way you did your hair tonight, or
Yeah.
and it's genuine. It's true, genuine,
is.
like women empowerment.
And
I
they're
feel
like, we need to be friends. And
I
they
know.
do, and they call you up, and you go do things, and you end up having,
Right.
and all of a sudden they're best friends. You're having vacations together and shit. And you're like,
And again, that's back to cooperation as opposed to competition.
right.
And I think that's a theme. If I was going to promote something as a theme that the lifestyle provides, it's that cooperative environment. Because we're all just, we're living. We're trying to do our best to love each other and grow and, all of these kind of things. And when you got people that are competing against you, you have to be defensive and you have to kind of, work all that out and fight. And I'm just so tired of that.
I think also I learned so much in the lifestyle about sexuality and my own too. And we've been married and I did sex before. All these, I thought I knew about sex. I had babies at home. I got all these things. I thought I knew my body. I thought I knew all these things. But you get these people, and they're so willing to talk to you about so many things, and you hear these things like, "I never knew my body could do that," or "I didn't know this could." And you learn so many things, and I didn't even know my body could do certain things or could respond certain ways until I started even having conversations with some of these girls, or then would maybe see something happen and have all these questions and have people be so eagerly and openly with no embarrassment talking to you about body functions.
Right.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
And again, she's had lovers who have given her experiences that for whatever reason I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, vice versa.
Whether it's just the long-standing relationship, whether it's the personality type, whether it's the knowledge, whatever it is, you have two choices when that happens. You can either feel defensive about that and competitive about that, or you can say, wow, teach me that. How do I know that? How do I do that also and such? And so, again, that's the cooperative element that I think is important.
I think that was one of my funnest times is we were playing with a couple at the ranch, and we're still really good friends with them. And at the end, her husband came up to Kenji and was like, so can we get together and you can teach me what you just did? Because I've never heard her scream like that.
Oh, I forgot about yes. I was like, which one? Wait a second. Where are you going with this?
Up. We hadn't even left the room yet. We were still getting dressed and, cleaning up. And he outright asked Kenji that. And I just started dying laughing. And like you said, you've learned so much about your body. Before we started being in the lifestyle, we had a ton of sex all the time. Like
we did too.
Our sex life was really high.
Yeah.
But there's some things that I didn't think that my body was possible of, to do.
Absolutely, me
and
too.
Not even from learning them directly firsthand, but just having a conversation with another woman. And she's like, well, you should try this. And I go home and I'm like, babe,
we're going to
try this.
We're gonna try this. We got to try this.
And that's exactly what it is.
So,
girls start to talk to you and they tell you these things and you're just like, holy cow.
Right.
Really? That's what?
I mean, women have traded recipe tips for years.
Right.
Why not
beauty
this?
tips? Beauty tips. I mean,
Why
I
not?
think sexuality is one of the best beauty tips.
And guys should be. And I think that women have a natural sort of vibe that they can do that easier.
Don't they?
But the guys that I am on an intimate level with in terms of connection and talking and stuff, we can do the same. And that is also, you talk about the women connection.
Thank
but
you.
But to be able to connect with a man and say, hey, here's what I'm dealing with or whatever. It's just
these guy
it's
friendships.
so different.
Isn't it?
There's a different level of intimacy with these males relationships. It's not bisexual. It's not sexual. But to see these men interact the way women have had this veil of intimacy they've been able to have that men have never really penetrated.
I told
and
you.
now all of a sudden men have this place where they can be intimate like women have in the sense of having that kind of bromance friendship.
Right.
There's no sex. No kissing, no touching. They're just guys. But the fact that they can actually really talk soul to soul finally.
And not have this damn wall up, this societal wall where every guy has to put on this mask.
And then you see this beautiful thing happen between these two men, and you're just like, wow, you guys are really good friends. You're true friends. And it's beautiful. I love it.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
I do
really
love that.
appreciate that because, I talk to her about this all the time, and you guys see me. And so I'm always really open and talking to people. And, but other guys, especially out here in this crazy vanilla world, they're all, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Are you gay?
Out.
And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not gay.
I bet they do.
I'm not. So you're bi, right? And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I have a wife. I have kids. Like, no, I'm not. But I
want to fuck your wife.
But yeah, but I'm okay with me, And even my brother, who straight and narrow, he's like, oh my god, dude, like, you just got hit on by this gay guy. Like, what's going on here? And I'm like, dude. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like
it's a compliment.
I said I appreciate that.
Exactly.
Man
It's
or
a
woman.
compliment.
Thank you. At least I'm looking good today. But for the connection, for the bond, it's amazing because we already know that we're not gonna fucking we're not competition.
We're clear.
So I'm gonna be like, hey,
we're clear.
what have you been doing? You teach me this, I'll teach you this.
Not only are you not competition with each other, but you can be a confidant for each other.
Yes.
Yep.
And so I'll find that there's quite a few friends that we have in the lifestyle that they're not play friends, but like you guys have said before, they're really close friends of ours. All the men that are in this particular circle are very straight, and they look forward to Kenji coming around and having a conversation and having a hug from him at the end. Like, and it not meaning anything sexual, but just purely like, I care about you, and this was a great conversation, and let me give you a hug.
And men are just like, holy cow, I get what? I mean, it's like this shocking thing to them that they can have that relationship with a man. It's not gay, and it's like it's something so it transcends any relationship they've ever had, a friendship before.
Right.
I love it.
I know. I'm so all about that. give me a hug.
Yeah.
Give me a hug. You
Yeah.
know? And oh man, yeah, that's a pretty strong hug. You know? Like,
But it's
well,
amazing
I
to watch
love you.
men crack through that and find it, and then all of a
Isn't
sudden
it?
they're the ones giving the hugs, and they're the ones being all
Right.
happy. And you're like, yeah.
I love it.
Because it's
Hell yeah.
definitely that way almost from the get-go with women. I feel like
Yes.
for women, when we get thrown into this lifestyle, and especially the first time you're nude in front of somebody or, you know, stranger, when I say somebody, not like your partner, but you're going to one of these events, or like for us, it was at the Monchelle, getting naked for the first time. It's so empowering.
It is.
It's such a,
Yep.
like, oh my God, I can just be me. And it's such a breath of fresh air.
I've
Mhm.
heard that so many times in so many places. Just this sense of like, oh my God, this is the first place I felt fully me
Mhm.
and accepted for being fully me. No
Right.
one shamed me or shut me down or anything, and I was fully seen for the first time in my life.
With all
maybe
your-
since,
with
maybe
all
since you
your-
were a child.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
With
Yep.
all your insecurities, all your faults, I mean, none of us are perfect,
And being
know?
accepted.
but
But
being
no one was
accepted.
expecting you to. No one's putting you into a performance bar at that place. As much as it sounds like, oh, you know, especially with sex, people talk about porn in this performance bar. Be a perform. No, honestly, no one's putting you against a performance bar in your personality and anything that's going on. You're just accepted for who you are. It's
Right.
great.
I love it.
It's pretty powerful.
I love it.
So with the documentary, how you guys are getting ready to start your next set of interviews, and what's
We-
that timeline?
Well, we've done about
Yeah.
40 so far.
Yeah, easily
Okay.
40,
What?
50.
Yeah, we've done 40
Holy
interviews so
shit.
far.
Yeah, and we
it's
plan
been a
to
lot
do
of
about
work.
another 30 or 40.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Wow.
so this
All,
is
so like another the full 80 is going to be in
And
your
this is-
documentary.
We're going
Well,
to
we
send
don't
them out
know.
and we'll see what they pick and
Yeah,
what they
see,
don't.
they'll-
We just
they'll
want to
have
give
to
them a
edit.
huge amount. Plus, we also are trying to have them follow me a little bit more because we want to have them highlight Spark Erotic. We don't just want to be, oh, Spark Erotic did this footage and sent us this great stuff. We want to
No.
also be, seen like, let's follow this company.
Almost like a partnership though.
Yeah, and so let's follow this company. And Chris is really wants to kind of highlight it. So we're sending him like what we're doing this week is we're heading out into a desert in Utah, and we're going to take a film crew with us and some of our friends who've agreed to this, and they're going to come out in the desert with us, and we're going to do a film. And so our friend who's working with us, documentary Dylan, is coming with us, and he's going to film helping us film the entire time in the desert what we're doing,
Stop it.
showing us kind of from the beginning of packing the car, getting out there, doing the whole thing, all the problems that come up. Like there's a fireman, and we're going to do this anywhere. We're going to do it anyway. So please pray for us. However, anybody who says pray for us
there's
because
a
we need this,
$1,000 fine,
or it may be higher, but
and we're going to play against that.
we're going to play against
And
it
we're going to do it anyway.
because where we're at, we feel so confident about where we're at. We would not
There's
do this
nothing there. I
cavalierly.
mean, it's the
Right.
We're
desert.
literally in the middle.
Right?
Of,
I know.
mean,
You're going to
it's
burn
nothing-
down.
nothing
and
to
we're
like.
gonna have these, but we're gonna have these. But here we're gonna document this wonderful thing, and then right after there's a festival, and so we're gonna be staying doing kind of a Burning Man style little festival in the desert, and he's gonna document that as well and our life and follow us through here. And then I have some confessional things I've done and some other little things that are just kind of showing me as a personality and what it's been like to run Spark Erotic, and then showing some of my stars. We want to kind of have all that to sort of not just have it be. This is how Spark Erotic is hopefully going to get some feedback and get some, because we just need the eyes. Because I truly feel like what we're doing, if you saw us, any one of you who's listening, I dare you to go see what we're doing and not want to watch more of what we're doing.
That's right.
And that's what we need. If we have anyone willing to support us, the more we get supported. Finally, my dream is we'll get to a point where we don't have to worry about this being out of pocket all the time. We can start paying people what they truly deserve. We can start doing this on a level that is even bigger. And what I truly want to do is I want to do a film that is like a 90-minute long film. I know the film. I know the characters. I've had this in my mind for about 7 years. I've written
Oh my
the
God.
whole thing out in my head. I know what it is. And it would be the first film that could truly bridge Hollywood and the adult world and be something that people go, damn, this is a real film that I would watch, that would take people to, all of it. And that's a dream because I want to make this happen for people.
I love it. It's not some like cheesy Skinamax
Yeah.
film.
I
You
want to
know.
bring it back to the
Oh,
theaters where
thank you.
where it used to be.
So
Thank
your website,
Yeah.
sparkerotic.com.
Uh-huh.
Are you going to have information up there for when the documentary comes up, linking
Absolutely.
to it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We'll put a link out to that and such. And the docu-series, it's not just a
Yeah.
film. It's
No,
going to be
yes.
a series
12
of
episodes.
12
Oh.
episodes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
So-
I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
it's not just it's not like what.
Yeah, so the
Dylan's
first
doing.
episode is going to be like getting to know Chris, getting to know us, I think, is the idea. And then and kind of getting the whole idea of what the subject matter is going to be about. And then every episode's one, like you were saying, like you have this thing that you're going to ask about what weird sex. So they'll have like one of embarrassing sex moments, or they'll have fetishes and kinks, or they'll have sex workers, or they'll have parties, or they'll have, so every segment is going to be something different.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
cannot wait to see that.
And this is supposed to be out on Netflix?
It's either going to be on Netflix or it's going to be going on to Hulu, Amazon. Because what's happening is we've got one company bidding on it who's going to take it to Netflix. You've got another company who's bidding on it who wants to take it to Hulu, Amazon. So it depends on which company outbids each other when this is out there.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow.
So, yeah.
Hey, bid up. Huh?
I
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah. Oh
We
yeah.
were like, this is good for the producers who are putting this out because they were, they had been contacted by this first producer saying, you make it, we'll pay for it. So they were basically told, you got to go make it, but we will pick it up. But then someone else heard about it and knows how famous this guy is in England for what he's doing. And they know right now, one thing I will say about COVID, it put a spotlight on sex.
Didn't it
And
though?
sex became a huge commodity again. And people couldn't get enough of our films. We got worldwide distribution because of COVID. We're kind of actually bigger in Europe than we are here. There's
Really?
kind of a good following in Europe.
Oh,
Well,
because
Europe
I-
is much
because-
more sexually
yeah.
open.
Yeah, and they
Yes.
love They
Yes.
love this. They're eating erotica up because European porn is very hard, very dark in a lot of ways, and they are
Oh my God,
loving
right?
this porn. They want it so much, it's crazy,
Oh my god.
which is fascinating to us. In fact, this year we were the only American company chosen to go to the Berlin Festival.
Oh, wow.
The only American company chosen.
Congratulations, you guys.
So we were
That's
like,
Hell
wow.
yes.
Thanks.
So that
Hell
was-
yes.
But that shows you, it's like this. The world has a hunger for this. They want it. Everybody
Right.
wants this.
I got
so,
goosebumps from that
Uh-huh.
because you guys deserve it.
Oh,
you
we
know,
were
especially
thrilled.
No, serious, especially like with the whole erotic thing. You know,
Yeah, it's
not just a
taken you
wham bam.
years.
Thank you, ma'am. You
Again,
guys have put in the work.
Yeah.
We're trying to show the porn world there is another. Yes, you guys are awesome, and thank you for all the work you've done for opening the doors for us. But there's another way to do this too, and we need to evolve. We need to evolve, and to
Yes.
survive, we need to get away from the like I said, the pirates who stole the porn from everybody as far as the monetary side. Get back into the filmmaking of it. Get back
Mhm.
into the art of it.
make a good fucking
Make it
film.
good, and then
Thank you.
people
Right.
are going to. You're going
Thank
to
you.
normalize this more. You're going to sell more of it. It's going to get better.
It's got to be that way across
So-
all content. Like
Yeah.
OnlyFans has been saturated like crazy because of COVID as well. And
Right?
Yeah. and the
OnlyFans.
content is horrible.
Yep.
Horrible. The pictures, the production.
Yeah.
It's cheap.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I'm
it's
thinking
it's
I'm gonna
everybody's
be-
phone.
I'm going to be opening up an OnlyFans and kind of doing it at the Spark Erotic level. And it has been so difficult. OnlyFans has made it so hard to do that as a professional company. They're just like, "Are you kidding me?" No, it's like they don't want the quality. It's
Right.
hilarious.
They just
No.
want the content.
They
Yeah.
just want push.
They
Yeah.
don't want necessarily quality
know,
at all.
I'm fond of saying that McDonald's sells more hamburgers than anybody else in the world, but that is the shittiest hamburger you're ever gonna have.
I can't even tell you the last time we ate at McDonald's.
I can't.
Oh,
I,
God.
that stuff literally
Oh,
makes
God.
me ill.
Oh
So-
God.
And the prices are rising.
Right?
So, you get like a Big Mac meal or something, you're spending $8.
Right.
$10.
Why not
you're
spend 20 and get a fucking good burger,
Mm.
right?
Or 15. How about let's say 15?
Yeah.
Well,
Right?
you guys, we can't thank you enough for coming on here. We're looking at all of your stuff. We're excited to be a part of your
Oh my
documentary.
gosh. I
We're,
know.
we're
So
excited to
excited.
support it because, we're all on the same page here and we all
Yeah.
want the same thing as that's to
Absolutely.
normalize this and to not make it so taboo.
Mm-hmm.
And so we really appreciate you guys coming out and sharing your story with us.
Everybody
Absolutely.
taking off the masks.
Yeah.
Bonding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Bonding.
feel like it goes right back to you. I mean, so ditto. Everything you said right back to you guys. We feel so honored to be part of this, and we support you in every way too. And thank you for the effort that you're doing for
Oh,
this as
thank
well.
you.
You guys better stop it.
You
You
know
guys
what?
wanna be bad. Yeah, you
It-
better stop it.
It doesn't
Oh my
feel like
gosh.
work when you love it, though, right?
Exactly.
It doesn't feel like
So
work.
true.
I mean, we come here every day and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we're going to have a
We
fun
get to do this.
conversation.
Yeah, I know. We can
Yeah.
talk to people about this.
Right.
All right. All right.
Yeah, everybody's stressing about like all this stuff about the desert, getting out there. I'm like, this is fun. I
This
don't
is
care. I
fun.
love organizing this stuff. I love seeing it. The minute we get on the road, I'm just be having fun.
And I'm sure as soon as everybody gets out there, all those worries just go.
I'm not
Yeah.
worried at all. Anybody else might have worried. I'm not worried at all.
Nope.
Just let everybody else worry. I'm not gonna worry. I got this. I'm the director. I better got this.
Well, Urvashi, Kama, thank you again. Cheers to your documentary. Hopefully
know.
it's very successful.
Yes.
Here's you guys. Thank,
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Thank you guys so
My
much.
man.
Cheers to monogamous. May it be incredibly successful too.
Hey, we're shooting for it.
That's- and success to us, again, is just
Yes.
growing this community.
Amen. Yes.
So thank you again. You guys, you can catch us on YouTube. Oh, Catch us
Yep.
on YouTube,
Spotify,
iHeartRadio,
iHeartRadio, iTunes, whatever.
Check us out, subscribe, like, and please, thank you for supporting us through this season. It's been a long season. We've been trying to get lots of content out to you guys. If you know anybody that would love to be on our show, please reach out to us. We'd love to have them on and share their story. Have a great day. Bye, Ishes.